if you're a filmmaker trying to make that leap from the self-produced, tiny, micro-budget productions to the multi-million-dollar productions and beyond that receive possibly wider or at least more mainstream distribution, this series is my video diary where I share with you beat by beat my own attempts as I try to do just that. Last episode, I talked about why do that? And in this episode, I'm going to get into the nuts and bolts of how. How does one make that leap? And I'll share with you what I've tried, what happened, and what I'm going to do next. As always, in this episode and every episode, I will include an optional assignment that could take a few minutes or a lot longer, whatever you want to invest in it. And it will move you forward regardless of where you're at right now. Welcome to the Independent Film School. I'm Thier. So how? What exactly are the mechanics of making that leap into the multi-million-dollar movies and beyond? Let's start with the good old famous catch-22. If you've been around the block, you know this. The bottom line is no one is going to invest millions of dollars in a film without reassurance that they are at least very likely to make it back. And living under capitalism as we do, the only way that a financier will feel that reassurance is if somebody is in your film who's a known actor. They believe that if actors are well known, then they'll be much more likely and able to distribute the film and make their money back and churn a profit. The problem, my friend, is that you can't get that kind of money, right, unless there's a known actor attached, except you can't attach an actor, a known actor, if the money is not in place. It's the chicken and egg. Without the money, you can't get known actors. Without known actors, you can't get the money. Catch-22. So what do we do? Well, there are two different things that you can do. In fact, there's an infinite number of things you can do, but all of those infinite things, and you need to think creatively, all of those things will fall under one of two categories. So in category one, you could try and get at least a portion of the money you're trying to raise as private equity. So private equity means somebody simply cuts you a check, that money goes into escrow, and they're guaranteed that if the money makes money, they'll receive 120% back of what they invested, and then continue to have a shareholder, be a shareholder in the film forevermore. So you're looking for private equity. Generally, films that are made with several $millions are not made with just private equity or with any private equity. Mostly films that are made with millions of dollars are pre-sold. The way you raise that money is you pre-sell the film to a distributor. That distributor, because you have known actors, they feel confident they can distribute the film and make the money back. They basically buy the film before you made it. And it's with that money that that's the budget of your film. And distribution is in the bag and guaranteed because you have that, you made the sale with a distributor. So vast majority of multi-million-dollar films get their financing that way. So back to that chicken and egg. I can't get a known actor without money in place. I can't get money if I don't have a known actor. Category one of how to break that loop is to get some of that money from private equity, not by pre-selling the film. So let's say you want to raise $2.5 million. You're going to get $500,000 from somebody who believes in you, or they're connected to the film in some way. They believe in the cause. They believe in the message. They love your work. To them, it's not a lot of money, and they would just have a lot of fun being a shareholder in a film. There are they're just a gambler. There are many reasons why somebody would invest in a film. And so you try and raise that, just like that 20% or even 10%. And then you have money in the bank so that when you approach agencies and you want to make, you make formal offers to these known actors who you want, you can do a or play deal. You can actually cut a check. So you say, the film is not fully financed. I'll get that. I have the contacts once I have the attachment. That means you know an actor. I can raise the money, but for now we do have our 20%, and I can send a check. So people have done it that way. The other second category of how to break that catch-22 is backdoors. So you don't start with the money, you start with the actors, and you try and get that script in front of the actor that you want. If you try and go through the front door, first of all, most casting directors will tell you that they're not gonna, put out offers unless the money is there and the project is financed. Or you get as far as the agency, and the agent is not going to take you seriously, may not even forward the project, may just flat out, turn it down and say come back to me when you have the financing in place. So when you go through the front door, you're going to hit that catch-22 and you're not going to reach your actors. So you got to get super creative with backdoors. Who do you know who might know someone, who might know someone, who might know someone? And I've seen filmmakers get so creative with how they've reached actors. I remember these filmmakers, the name of the film I can't remember it, but there were these filmmakers who made this beautiful comedy, and they made a video, like a sizzle, where they personally addressed Kate McKinnon, and they posted it publicly everywhere, and the video did reach her, and she saw it, and she got interested, and she worked on their film. So people get really creative. I've tried making these videos where I speak very personally to an actor, and then I did a bunch of detective work where I get on LinkedIn and I find the producer of this actor's podcast, or the DP who worked on this actor's film, people who are easier to reach. They don't have as many firewalls. And I've gotten some responses. I've gotten the producer of a podcast get back to me on LinkedIn and said, I'll forward it was the pitch material. It wasn't the actual script. You don't want to send that to anybody unless and until they invite you to. So I just put a link in LinkedIn to the pitch. It was like a 2-page thing, mostly visuals, really beautiful, but I got the story across. And she offered to forward it. Then I never heard anything. I tried to reach the DP of a show, and the DP actually replied to me. And, I said, I loved your work, thank you so much. But he didn't feel comfortable forwarding. He's like, go, you need to go through the agent. Yeah, I know that. The agent is not going to do anything if I'm not financed, dude. I've tried doing detective work, and I got friends to help me out. This person is very active in such and such society, such and such nonprofit organization that does this or that. And I reached out to them. This actor has, I've seen him on YouTube interview somebody, and I was able to get the contact of the person that they were interviewing and asked if they would forward. I could sit here and rattle off 100 things I've tried that have not worked, that have gotten some results, some response, but ultimately the script did not end up in front of the actor. So in terms of what I've done this past week, I reached out to a casting director I've worked with. Sure enough, what she said is she could get it to the agent. It'll be a formal offer, but if I'm not financed, it's not going to get anywhere. She didn't have the relationships to be able to get my script directly to that actor without the money in place. So that didn't go anywhere. I also contacted a former film sales agent who now hires herself as a consulting producer, and I asked her, and she too said that, she couldn't do anything with it until I have either the money or the actor in place. So she didn't really help. While I'm trying to do that, I also reached out to 2 women who have experience and the chops, the contacts and the know-how in raising private equity So maybe they could raise the, that $500,000 thing so we could get the ball rolling. That's in the works. After one of those conversations, I was chatting with a friend of mine who's been helping me think about all this, and I remembered a friend who I've known for many, many years, like 20 years. We used to be part of this organization 20 years ago. It was like an activist organization. And he was an aspiring film editor at the time. And I saw him over the years really, build up his career. And I remembered that he edited a film starring not one, but two actors that I really want to work with. These two actors are my first choice for this film that I'm working on. So as a Hail Mary, I contacted him and asked him, I didn't ask him, do you have a connection with these actors? Will you send my script? I didn't do that. I asked him if he could have a quick chat. I'm going to share with you my text right now. Here's what I wrote him. BB, been a minute, plus a pandemic or two. Keep it light. Thier here. Don't assume you're in someone's contacts. Texting you out of the blue, but with a super important question. Intriguing. Have time for a 10-minute Zoom? So I don't tell him what it's about, and I keep it a really, really small ask. Like, can you get on a 10-minute Zoom? Anytime today before 5, I get really specific, not like someday where he has to break his brains trying to figure out when he's going to talk to me. I know how busy he is. Anytime today before 5 or anytime tomorrow before 4, if not, able to name a possible time this week. So I get super specific so it's easy for him to say yes or no, but I also leave it super flexible. And I don't bring up what it's about until we get on that call. So he wrote me back. He said, today's actually not bad, maybe 2:30. And then he protects himself, and rightly so. Can't talk very long, though, at work. I know he's working on a film right now. He's editing. So I wrote back enthusiastically, 2:30 today's perfect. We'll make it 10 minutes tops. Sending you Zoom link. Thank you. Make it super easy for him. We got on the call, and I catch up. We talk about furniture, I don't like jump right in, even though, yes, we said 10 minutes and it was a 10-minute call. I prioritized the connection and just kind of rekindled the friendship. It's a good friendship. And then towards the end of our conversation, I say, look, I'm going to be shooting a film, directing my next feature film. I don't say I'm thinking about it, I'm hoping to, I might. I make it a concrete plan. This summer, I'm directing my third feature film, and I'm looking for my actors. This is a long shot, I said to him, but I know that you edited the film starring so-and-so and so-and-so. These are the actors I had in mind. Any possibility, 6th degree, I'm playing the 6th degree game. Might you know someone who knows somebody who, could reach them? And lo and behold, my friends, this never happens. He actually smiled and said to me, he said, Allah, this never happens. People ask me to do this all the time and I never can. I don't have contacts or connections with the actors in the films that I edit. But in this particular case, I happen to have made friends with these two actors and I've been in touch with them since. I've actually just texted one of them the other day. Send me the script. I'll give it a read and I'll forward it to them if I think it's a good fit. So that kind of blew my mind because I'm used to things not working. But yeah, he had direct contact to the actors that I wanted. So I sent him the script right away. He said, bug me in 2 weeks. That was kind of a bummer because I'm like, I have to wait 2 weeks. So I sort of joked with him and I said, great, I'll actually bug you in 1 week. If you keep it light and you use a sense of humor, you can get away with a lot of desperation. Anyways, a few days later, he reached out to me and he said that the script is absolutely wonderful. He loved it. He could totally picture these two actors in the script. He said that he pictured them the entire time and that he'll text one of them and get the script to her. So I got excited. I said, thank you so much, and then I sent him an email with a proposal of what he might say in the text, because I know I'm going to pitch my project. It's my baby. Plus, I've done so much work pitching material, and he's a film editor. He doesn't pitch projects, right? So I sent him an email, and I was like, if it's useful to you, use it or lose it. Here's something you might add, you might say in the text. And I made it a really, really short couple of lines. Here's what the script is about. I think he's really wonderful. I know this director well. I love her work. I talked myself up, made it super short and sweet. And that's what happened. So he did text this actress. She texted back right away and said that she'd love to read the script. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm playing this game of Catch-22, and I've managed to find a back door to get my script in front of the actress that I wanted, who's connected to the actor that I want. And the script is now with her. And so what's next for me now? Let's talk about what's next. What am I going to do next? By the way, this actress and the actor that I'm trying to reach, the two of them, they're very well known. Like if they say yes to this, if they're interested in the script, it's a done deal. I will, we'll pre-sell the film. I mean, they have their own production company. They'll, it's a done deal. If they're interested, then the series might end up being very short. If they say no, this series becomes much longer, and I keep trying the next thing and the next thing. Okay, I'm going to leave you with a little assignment as promised, and I'm going to leave you also with the two big takeaways from this episode. So the assignment has two parts to it. Feel free to just do part one. And if you're feeling ambitious, go for it and do part two, or do none of it. The assignment is called Finding Your Backdoors, because trying to reach known actors through the front door will not get you very far unless the money's already in the bank. We got to find back doors to get our amazing work in front of actors. So the first part of the assignment is make a list of 5 people you personally know, have a relationship with, who make movies. Maybe they are like an editor, like my friend who I reached out to, or you just know they've worked on sets, or they work for a casting directors, at an agency, or they make their own, projects. They make their own films, or they make their own home videos, and they have this awesome YouTube channel. 5 people who have any connection whatsoever to movie making. Make a list of those 5 people, and extra credit if you reach out to one of them and ask for a date just to, like a coffee date just to catch up, no agenda. Now, if you want to get super ambitious, part 2 of this assignment is think of one actor that you would love to work with. Maybe something you've written and they would be just, oh my gosh, amazing. Make sure it's an actor who you've seen in independent films. So if it's Brad Pitt, he only does studio films. Don't do that. Look for a known actor who has done independent films in the $3 to $5 million range, okay? You can use IMDb to do the little research, what the budget of a film was. And once you found that actor, do a little backdoor digging. Maybe find 5 people who have worked with this actor. Maybe it is the producer of their podcast, or their daughter who runs a gym, or their, Google them and look for interviews and find people who've worked with them. Maybe somebody who interviewed them. Make a list of 5 people who will have had contact with that actor, and see if you can find their information linked in. There's a website called Rocket Reach. It's a paid website though, but they might have a free trial. And see if you can get the contact information, either direct or LinkedIn, or other social media, of 5 people, not of that actor, but 5 people who've worked with that actor in some capacity. That's the ambitious part of the assignment. Use any of it that you'd like to. The 2 takeaways from today, Number 1, if you try to do this before your script is really amazing, you're just going to run into frustration. You want to get to a point where you've done the work and the script is just irresistible. Notice my friend, even though he's my friend, he didn't say I'll send it over. He said, let me give it a read and then I'll send it over, because he's got to protect his reputation. And the reason this script is now in front of my first choice actor is because the script was good. And when he read it, he loved it and totally pictured it for this actor. So he was like, yes, I love it. That's takeaway number one. You can do all the digging and research and backdooring and whatnot. And if you don't have really great work to follow it up with, you're going to hit walls. And I've done that. I've made that mistake. I've had opportunities that I botched because the work wasn't ready. So don't feel bad if that's you. Okay, that's takeaway number one. Takeaway number two, most things that you're going to try are not going to work. You got to know that. You got to know that going in. I have tried so many things for so many years, and I'm going to keep going because it's a probability game. Try 200 things. You only need one of them to work out. You just need one person who has the contacts and connections, who champions you, who falls in love with your work. That's all you need. So would it be amazing if my first choice actress, who now has the script in front of her, reads it, loves it, done deal? Oh my God, it would be amazing. Am I counting on it? No. I'm totally ready and prepared to do 200 more things, knock on 200 more back doors to get this made. And let me tell you, if it does work out this time, I've done it 200 times. It's not my first, rodeo. So most things that you will try in this direction will not work out. It's not a sign that something's going bad. It means that you're right on track. Keep going. All right, I'll see you next week. I'll tell you what's transpired, what else I try, and what happens here with my attempts. Hope to see you there. I'm Thier. If you just found me, I recommend heading over to episode 1 and following my efforts sequentially. You can also click below to join me at theindependentfilmschool.com. I've trained thousands of screenwriters and filmmakers, many training sessions. Most of what I offer is free. Click below to join me there.